Hi, this is Danny Vierra, and I'm here with a good friend of mine, Nomi Shannon. Nomi is very well known for her work in the raw world. She's authored a number of books with beautiful recipes that we'll show you today. And I just wanted to say that we finished Risen. That's our school where we teach people how they can go do cleansing programs like we do at Bella Vita Lifestyle Center. So, Nomi, welcome.
Thank you, Danny. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's great working together again.
Yes, it's been a lot of fun creating recipes for all these fabulous people in your course.
Tell people a little bit about yourself, your work, and how they can get a hold of you.
Sure. Well, I went raw when I was 44 years old. I had a whole list of things that I was uncomfortable with. And within a very short time, I felt much better. And that started my journey with going to lots of different raw food facilities. I actually worked at Hippocrates Health Institute for 4 or 5 years. I ran the health educator group there. I became a health educator, a certified health educator. And after I left Hippocrates in the like 97 or so, I was looking for that one book that had lots of great recipes and super pictures, and I couldn't find it, so I wrote it. I'd never written a book before.
Yeah.
And that's the Raw Gourmet.
Yes.
And this book came out in 1999, filled with nice pictures, and it's considered to be one of the best first raw food books to get. And since then, I've written 4 or 5 other physical books, and then I've lots of ebooks and online courses, things like that.
Well, certainly people will want to get a hold of you. But thank you for coming to Risen.
Yes, it was a lot of work and a lot of fun.
You know, it's something very unique, you know, the school that we do, you know, at Risen, that people can take our fundamentals of natural hygiene online at modernmanna.org. And they can also then come and go through our intensive 14-day program here at Bella Vita Lifestyle Center. So I just wanted to tell the people, too, that, you know, I have a newsletter called The Elijah Prophecy that you can find and subscribe to on modernmanna.org. But I stumbled on something a while back, and I just want to address this a little bit. And it had to do with MTHFR mutation. And what that stands for is methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase. And it's actually a mutation that you inherit from your parents. And if you have this mutation, you cannot utilize, absorb, assimilate folic acid or vitamin B12. And I had posted something on Facebook when I was going through my 40-day detox or juice fasting that I was D3 deficient. And you mentioned you were too.
Yes, yes. A lot of people are because they've changed the RDA for it.
Yeah, they did. And so I was deficient in D3. I'm Italian.
Yeah.
And this lady commented on Facebook that, you know, Danny, have you ever been checked for MTHFR? And I go, what is that?
It doesn't sound good when you first look at it.
When you first look at it, what is that?
What is this?
And so I pursued it, and I knew a Dr. Richard Shear that's up in Mount Shasta. So I called him, and I made an appointment, and he says, let's check you out. So I went there. He's an ear, nose, and throat specialist. And lo and behold, I'm what's called homozygous. That means both parents. One parent's heterozygous. So I was low in my T3s, my T4s. I was low in D3. I was low in these folate. And I also was, he says, I don't know how you're fighting off any infection.
No matter what kind of supplements you take,
Exactly.
It's still because your body won't assimilate it?
Yes, and it's what they say it has to, you need the methyl group to assimilate this. So you can get some from your green leafy vegetables, but so many people are walking around that don't know they have this. But anyway, long story short, I started doing research. Increased birth defects, bipolar, cancer, multiple sclerosis. Some of the other things were hyperactivity disorders, schizophrenia, you know, mood swings, hypothyroidism, and many unexplained problems that people are having today. So, you know, what I did is I got the test, and it was so simple because what Dr. Shear said is, you know, you want to take this neuroimmune stabilizer, and what this is a product that we actually get from a company called Neurobiologics, and it says here that this product, here it is, will help support normal metabolism of neurotransmitter production and immune health. This formula was created by Dr. Kendall, MD. And what will it do? It will assist in maximizing focus, concentration, short-term memory, organization, visual accuracy, hormonal regulation, sleep patterns, and mood stabilization and immune function. And you know, he told me about it, and he said, you know, you put it on like this, and you just rub it in, and it's transdermal. It gets into the body very quickly. And within 3 days for me, I began to notice changes.
These are some of my biggest problems. Memory, organization. I got to remember the other two now. Focus and concentration.
Yeah.
And as I've aged, because you and I both know I'm 72 years old.
Yeah, you look great.
72 and a half, raw food,
Yeah.
thank you. I was diagnosed at age 70. I walked into my HMO and I said, listen, I'm either getting senile, which I got to know because I'm running a business, or I have ADD or something. And they really tested me rigorously. Mm-hmm. And I tried very hard to not have anything wrong with me, you know?
Right.
And I thought it was fun, all the things they had me do and everything. And they told me I was extreme ADHD, which is odd because, you know, I didn't act out in school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even though years ago it wasn't diagnosed, looking back, it didn't feel like I had the symptoms.
Yeah.
Although I've always had focus, memory, concentration problems. Somehow I managed to graduate college cum laude, but it created a lot of stress. Mm-hmm. And what's been happening to me is it's gotten much worse the last few years, and we're all so busy, and the internet and the cell phone and the details. You know, running a business today is like 500 times busier than it was years ago. And I was starting to get stressed out from not being able to remember or sit for hours while I would still remember. So, do you want to tell what happened the other day?
Well, yes. And, you know, as I was saying, when I took it, I began to calm down.
Yeah.
And I would, you know, I could escalate, I could relax. I mean, I react. I told my story in my newsletter, The Elijah Prophecy. If you go to modernmanna.org, you can click on the Elijah Prophecy archives and look for the one that says MTHFR, Stop the Madness.
Just look for the thing that looks like a dirty word, but it isn't.
Yeah. But anyway, I took it and I started balancing out. I started getting calmer, my focus. I started looking at art that I never do, listening to music that I never do. And I'll tell you what a change. So when you came and told me your history and I saw, you know, right, ADHD or whatever's going on with you and the short-term memory issue, I said, let's try this on you. And because I discovered this and you did, and that first day, what happened?
It was 4 or 5 days ago, early in the morning. I put it on my arm. It was profound. I mean, within minutes, I felt first something, I don't know what part of your brain is this. The something or other. I felt this odd, like
brainstem,
not like alcohol. It was just a very strange feeling, and over the next like 20, 30 minutes, I got this feeling in my body, sort of like a.
Wow.
And it was very profound that day. It didn't last all day, and I've been taking it regularly since then. I've been sleeping better. My biggest sort of stress is what we've been doing here, which is I kind of got thrown into, you know, unfamiliar territory, feeding 30 people 2 meals a day, 5, 6, 7 days a week. It's a big job. Yeah. And it's like, if you don't produce the food and it's not good, no matter why, the chef always, it's always the chef's fault. And I don't do it regularly. I'm not an ongoing chef. I'm more of a writer and teach people how to eat raw food at home, that kind of thing. So that is a very high stress thing for me. So what happened to me clearly is I still had the same like pile of problems, but I was completely calm about it. As a matter of fact, I said to you 2 hours later, we saw each other again. I said, in passing, I've said, who cares? 10 times in the last 2 hours. And it was awesome.
But I never say that.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is only my 4th or 5th day. I mean, the jury's still out because, you know, I've tried things in the past and they've seemed great and then they haven't. But this has really been, it's like, you know, there's a lot on my plate, just like everybody else. And I've noticed the last 3, 4, 5 years, like somebody would send me an email that would be like sort of an emergency, and I'd be like, and I'm like, why? I mean, why am I having such an extreme overreaction?
Exactly.
I don't know if
Yeah.
it's, they explain to me,
too. Yeah.
this ADHD and it gets worse and it gets stressful, but I'm starting to think I might not have ADHD and that it's exactly this.
Well, you know, like you said, it's the jury's out.
Yes.
And I understand. And I can come back and say, I've been using it for quite a while.
Yeah.
And I had my kids tested, because you can go to a physician and request an MTHFR test, and they'll do a blood test on you and come back and tell you if you have it or not.
Right.
And there's no harm in using these. In fact, what I'm doing now is I can take either the cream or I can take the methylation complete, which is the same type of thing in a sublingual form. And then in a couple of weeks, I added the methylfolate plus. So now I'm getting the B12 in an assimilable form, and I'm getting the methylfolate in a very absorbable form. And I've noticed quite a difference on me. But here's what I'm getting from people. Wow, I slept 10 hours all night. Haven't done that in years.
Well, the second day, I took this nap, and I was very tired, and I woke up at 7 p.m., and I thought it was 7 a.m. That's how deep the sleep was.
Really?
So there have been very profound changes. The biggest is I'm in the kitchen, there's a lot going on. Instead of me sort of fluttering around and yapping at everyone, and we got to do this, we got to do this, and we got to do this, sort of thinking out loud, I've calmed down, they're happier. You know, I'm happier, because it's easier to think when you're not like sort of hyperventilating.
Right.
So I'm definitely going to be taking this for a while.
There's definitely a calming effect on it. The other thing I want to say is I've told people with bipolar disorder, I mean, heavy bipolar disorder, they started and they said, I have a new son. Now, when I started taking the products, I called the doctor in 3 days and I said, is this in my head? Or is something truly happening to me? I'm happy, I'm joyful, I'm smiling, I'm singing, I'm listening to music. He said it's called happy hormone. He said in the biochemistry, you were not producing serotonin and dopamine levels at normal levels, and you were deficient. So therefore, you never had that happiness sustained to the level that you want. But I'm just, you know, I'm not here so much to promote something.
Right.
I want you to know, I love it when you find something that can truly benefit people when they don't have any answers.
Yes, and you know, I just thought this was me. This is my personality. I take B12. I do all this stuff. I have this perfect diet. Goodness knows where I'd be if I didn't.
Right.
You know, had I not, chosen to be raw and eat all these greens. So at least some of it's getting in. Another thing that happened, you reminded me when you're saying happy, is the other day. I mean, everybody was hysterical. I was making joke after joke after joke, and I'm like,
me about that.
I have not been this witty and funny since I remember, like maybe in high school 50 years ago.
Isn't that something?
So maybe it's something that gets worse as you age, or I don't know.
I think you've been living with, if you haven't, that this mutation, it's taken effect. And here's the interesting thing, that folate is so important, folic acid, and your B12. But what I learned was that you can get absorbable folic acid in the green leafy vegetables. So being raw, the green smoothies, we're eating a lot of those, which has saved us to a degree. But now as we're aging, we need more.
Yeah.
So.
And I do see now that we've talked about it quite a bit the last few days, and I do want to do some reading too. I see certain things in my family members, my siblings, one of my kids, and I'm just, this is the beginning for me, but I haven't probably ever experienced anything as immediately, clearly working and profound.
Yeah.
It's just like, everything's the same in my head. I'm just not panicking over it.
Right.
It's a way better way to feel.
Isn't it? And so I like myself better.
Yeah.
At first I was saying, it's like I have a new brain. I'm saying, what is going on with my head? Because this is designed for neurotransmitters. It's designed for the brain, the neurons of the brain. The other thing that I did was have my children checked and whatever, and they got that energy. They got that, slow down, girl. And, they said, Dad, I'm calmer. I'm definitely calmer. So I just think it's a great thing, and I'm just happy that, at Modern Manna, that the Lord blesses us in a number of different ways. I found out I was gluten intolerant, and now I find out that I have this mutation. And the other thing is, like you mentioned, you're a family member or whatever.
Yes.
It's not their fault.
Totally.
Okay, so they may say,
Genetic.
what's wrong with me? It's not. It's a genetic issue.
Yeah.
So when you correct this, you can then therefore experience what I say
Yeah.
sometimes is normal.
Normal, new normal. My family, we all have celiac. So I wonder if
You
there's
too? Yeah, I've asked that too.
a correlation. Yeah, because I have it, my daughter has it, my grandson has it diagnosed, and I can assure you, my sisters and my
Right.
son, blah, 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 my mother,
Yeah.
but they just were in denial.
Well, it'd be
Yeah.
interesting when you get a blood test to see,
Yeah.
what it comes back. I certainly would like to know. But in the meantime, tell people how they can get a hold
Sure.
of you.
Sure.
Yeah.
My main website is rawgourmet.com, RAWGOURMET, and that's where you'll find my books and certain kitchen gadgets. I also offer several courses. I have a course called Ready, Set, Teach, that teaches people how to teach raw food for a living, and that's vip.rawgourmet.com. I have a 2-month How Do You Eat Raw Food course.
That's nice.
And that's called rawfoodfortherealworld.com. And I have multiple books and ebooks and all kinds of free information and free gifts and ebooks and a newsletter and blog, and many articles are posted. I've probably posted 1,000 articles over the years, and they're finally being moved from my archives that no one can reach into my blog at rawgourmet.com.
Yeah, beautiful. And if you want to get a hold of us at Modern Manna, just all you have to do is click that link below. Just click the link below, and it'll take you right where you need to be. We have many things to offer at Modern Manna. We now have moving towards 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. I have one of my presentations actually just hit over 100,000
Wow.
views, and that was pretty
cool.
exciting. The other thing is we offer free newsletters. We have our school called Risen, where people can come and get trained in our method of cleansing and detoxifying the body, and be certified as a natural hygiene coach. So we like raw.
We
And
like
your
raw.
meal today was awesome.
Yeah, Thai food,
Ooh,
only raw.
I
It was
love
yummy.
the flavors.
Yeah.
It was beautiful, the presentation, and that carrot cake.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was-
Well, that wasn't Thai,
Yeah.
but I wanted to end with, because
Yeah.
today was our last day, and all of these people are going to go home and
Yeah.
being open in places in their own homes, and
Right.
it was a fabulous group.
Well, I know many people are going to watch us on YouTube, Nomi. It's great working with you.
You too, Danny.
I love
I think
it.
we've
I hope
known
we
each
can
other.
have you back someday.
Sure, I'd love to come back.
Praise God. But you've done a great job over the years. Many people respect you very highly.
Thank you.
I've been posting on Facebook the pictures of some of the meals, and I'm getting some great
Oh,
responses.
that's great. I'll have to post it on mine
Yeah.
too.
So make
This
sure you
interview.
visit her website, check out the things that she has available. Also, click the link below, and you can be navigated over to Modern Manna and the other things we have to offer as well. So thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Nomi.
Thank you, Danny.
It's been a
Pleasure.
pleasure. God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you too.